Tom had a brighter face when I saw him last, I answered. Now he isn't fresh enough to become bait for his own lobsters. Ambrose laughed and pulled my ears. That's my boy, he said. Spoken like a true philosopher. And then he added with a sudden flash of perception, If you feel squeamish, go and be sick behind the hedge there, and remember, I've not seen you. He turned his back upon the gibbet and the four roads, and went striding away down the new avenue he was planting at the time, which cut through the woods and was to serve as a second carriageway to the house. I was glad to see him go, because I did not reach the hedge in time. I felt better afterwards, though my teeth chattered and I was very cold. Tom Jenkin lost identity again, and became a lifeless thing, like an old sack. He was even a target for the stone I threw. Great daring, I watched to see the body move. But nothing happened. The stone hit the sodden clothing with a plonk, then shied away. Ashamed of my action, I sped off down the new avenue in search of Ambrose. Well, that was all of 18 years ago, and to the best of my recollection, I've not thought much of it since, until these last few days. It is strange how in moments of great crisis the mind whips back to childhood. Somehow I keep thinking of poor Tom, and how he hung there in his chains. I never heard his story, and few people would remember it now. He killed his wife, so Ambrose said, and that was all. She was a scold, but that was no excuse for murder. Possibly, being over-fond of drink, he killed her in his cups. But how? And with what weapon? With a knife or with his bare hands? Perhaps Tom staggered forth from the inn upon the quay, that winter's night, all lit with love and fever, and the tide was high, splashing upon the steps, and the moon was also full, shining on the water. Who knows what dreams of conquest filled his unquiet mind, what sudden burst of fantasy. He may have groped his way home to his cottage behind the church, a pale, rheumy-eyed fellow stinking of lobster, and his wife lashed out at him for bringing his damp feet inside the door, which broke his dream, and so he killed her. That well might be his story. If there is survival after death, as we are taught to believe, I shall seek out poor Tom and question him. We will dream in purgatory together. But he was a middle-aged man of some 60 years or more, and I am 25. Our dreams would not be the same. So go back into your shadows, Tom, and leave me some measure of peace. That gibbet is long since gone, and you with it. I threw a stone at you in ignorance. Forgive me. The point is, life has to be endured and lived. But how to live it is the problem. The work of day by day presents no difficulties. I shall become a justice of the peace, as Ambrose was, and also be returned one day to Parliament. I shall continue to be honoured and respected like all my family before me. Farm the land well, look after the people. No one will ever guess the burden of blame I carry upon my shoulders, nor will they know that every day, haunted still by doubt, I ask myself a question which I cannot answer. Was Rachel innocent or guilty? Maybe I shall learn that, too, in purgatory. How soft and gentle her name sounds when I whisper it. It lingers on the tongue, insidious and slow, almost like poison, which is apt indeed. It passes from the tongue to the parched lips, and from the lips back to the heart, and the heart controls the body, and the mind also. Shall I be free of it one day, in 40, in 50 years? Or will some lingering trace of matter in the brain stay pallid and diseased? Some minuscule cell in the bloodstream fail to race with its fellows to the fountain heart? Perhaps, when all is said and done, I shall have no wish to be free. As yet, I cannot tell. I still have the house to cherish, which Ambrose would have me do. I can reface the walls where the damp enters, and keep all sound and well and in repair. Continue to plant trees and shrubs, cover the bare hills where the wind comes roaring from the east. Leave some legacy of beauty when I go, if nothing else. But a lonely man is an unnatural man, and soon comes to perplexity. From perplexity to fantasy, from fantasy to madness. And so I swing back again to Tom Jenkin, hanging in his chains. Perhaps he suffered too. Ambrose those 18 years ago went striding down the avenue, and I in wake of him. He may well have worn the jacket I am wearing now, this old green shooting jacket with the leather padding.